Hello everyone, and welcome to the Lowdown on VA Loans. I'm Audrey Whittington with Realtor.com, and today we're talking to Chris Birk, the Director of Education for Veterans United. Thanks for being with us, Chris.
Audrey, it was great to be with you.
So Chris, let's talk about myths and misperceptions, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people don't really understand what a VA loan is, advantages, disadvantages, so let's start with myths.
Yeah, well, it's hard to know where to start, unfortunately, because there are so many of them, and they're out there among veterans and military home buyers, they're out there among real estate agents.
The one people we don't want to misunderstand.
Exactly. So I think if we can roll through a couple, if that's
Sure,
okay.
yeah, go for it.
So I think the single biggest one out there is that this is a one-time benefit, that you've got one shot to use the VA loan, and so you better pick the right time.
So you might have somebody older, like just waiting to use their benefit. They don't know that they can do it over and over again. I didn't know you could do it over again.
I hear stories like that from veterans all the time, and it's heartbreaking. This is, not only can you use it over and over again, it's even possible to have more than one VA loan at the same time.
Oh, really? No kidding.
Yeah. Another one that's sort of tied to that is there's a perception that you have to be out of the service to use this benefit, and you don't. If you're actively serving our country, you can look to use the VA home loan benefit right now.
So how would that work if you're active? Like, how does that work if you're active service?
Well, as long as you meet the time and service requirements, and you're likely to have income stability if you're actively serving our country.
Right,
so on the underwriting side, it's usually pretty simple and straightforward. It is. So occupancy can come into play, but if you're getting a housing allowance or other allowances out there, you might be able to use that to pay for some or even all of your mortgage costs. So that's a huge benefit for those who are actively serving the country.
Wow, that's fantastic. What is the length of service? Is that a misperception too, for how long you have to have served?
There are a lot of questions around that too. So typically it's 90 days of active duty service during wartime, 181 days during peacetime, or 6 years in the Guard or Reserve.
Sure.
There are even some surviving spouses out there who are eligible for this benefit too.
So that's probably a misperception too, that if you're a surviving spouse that you're eligible.
It is. It continues to be, and it's something that it's the least that we can do for those who've served and those who've lost someone who's served our country.
Agreed. I agree. So is there anything else we're missing that you sort of want to make sure people know? That you get a question about a lot of time and you're like, oh, that's not exactly right. So
foreclosure is another big one too. So if I've lost a VA loan to foreclosure, I can't get another one. You absolutely can. So talking with a lender who knows how the VA loan works is really beneficial there. There's also a lot of government bureaucracy, red tape misconceptions out there. This is a VA loan, the government's involved, it's gonna take forever, it's gonna cost a lot of money.
Sure.
These loans close about as fast as conventional loans, and they tend to have
faster.
In some cases they do, and with a higher closing success rate. So at the end of the day, this isn't really markedly different than any other type of loan. And we've talked about the benefits before too, and when you stack them up, it's arguably the most powerful loan option on the market. It's
true. I mean, no down payment, low interest rates, and really not hard to find. So
absolutely.
I mean, you can go to your lender and ask them if they support VA loans. Any lender really.
Yeah. And one more myth too that I think it's worth noting too is VA loan limits. So the VA has limits out there, but that doesn't limit how much money the veteran can borrow. What that does is basically say, you can borrow up to this much before you have to put some money down at the table. So veterans can get a loan for as much as a lender's willing to lend them.
Oh, wow.
Those limits just kind of dictate their down payment.
Got it. Well, this was super helpful. I know it cleared up a lot for me.
That's great.
So hopefully this was helpful to you. This is Audrey Whittington with Realtor.com doing the lowdown on VA loans. And please check out some of our other videos. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like or subscribe to our channel for more real estate content.